Okay, good afternoon. It is day, I believe, 50, is that 60? Well, 50, 59. I think. Maybe 50. Yeah, I think it's 59. Um, Coding every day until I get a job. No update on any application. Um, Actually, that reminds me of something. One second. Okay, I'm back. I I completely forgot as I was talking about it. I wanted to follow up today with some of the people from the career fair on Thursday night. I thought it would be weird to send them an email on Friday and then it just go to like the weekend and any momentum there would be stopped. So I wanted to wait till Monday. And I forgot to set a reminder for myself. So I just sent out those emails and applied to those positions that I was looking at. But yeah, um, I think I was talking about the whole GitHub thing. I want to see if I can take do something where I assume I can catch a submit API call, and if it's an accepted API call, perhaps, right? I'm assuming what's going to happen is there has to be a success, like an accepted state of a post. And if I can grab that call and on that call to GitHub and have something running to where it'll take the code of that submission and um, upload it onto my GitHub uh, within like a I think what I'll do is I'll have a LeetCode and a LeetCode repository and link both of those up. Um, I mean, I'm assuming what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have pay to have a server constantly running, right? Um, and that server will just be listening for any post request associated to my account. I don't know if I can. We'll have to see. This is something that I assume is already done, so we can probably just rip some code and change tweak it a little bit. Um, but that'd just be nice. A turn like the alternative is manually having to upload every single you know Python file. Um, and what's the fun in that? So look at that, and then we'll do a leak code and see if it works. If I can even get it to a state of testing it to work. And then that might be it. Or if there's something else I want to do today, we'll do that. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's look into this. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Okay, so automatically search no automatically upload leak code submission to GitHub. Okay, so there's something here. Yeah. So authorize LeetCode token. Is that a thing? A LeetCode token? Let me pause for a second and look at privacy tab. I didn't actually. I can reopen that. I didn't see anything in there of interest. Let me check if this email is one of the recruiters getting back to me. It was a recruiter. So I'm going to I need to do something for her real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Bro, I'm trying to. Okay, what did I originally leave for? I think I originally left for uh the person contacting me back, um, which I actually already I contacted the person who I talked to at Mass DOT, and she contacted the head of the team that is hiring the intern, and that person just scheduled an interview with me. Now I would be more excited. Oh my God, first interview. But it's not in like programming. And so I don't really care. It's better than nothing. It's better than the alternative of me working 40 hours a week at like a fucking fast food place during the summer because I have, I'm going to need to do something to make money this summer. Um, so it's like, it's better to, um, you know, have something, right? Um, but I mean, it doesn't pay the best. It's $20 an hour, which obviously isn't bad, but it's like, especially for like like working for the state, I think it'd be a little better. But and it's for converting. It's for making websites like accessible. So like putting alt text on a button, or making sure screen readers can properly go through the website and read it correctly. Now, I'd assume that's pretty mundane. So like, there's definitely room there for like um making tools for them. And doing coding stuff to assist with the job potentially. But yeah. So would not be sad if I don't get that, to be honest, because it doesn't sound that great anyways. Um but yeah. So have that interview on Friday now. And then I tried I okay, so I completely off topic. I went to the store a couple days ago, and they have like a for sale like meat section at Whole Foods, and looked exactly like a steak, but it was like a pork like butt roast, like a Boston pork butt roast, and it looked exactly like a steak. And so I was like, ah, I'll just cook this like a steak. Well, I forgot that when you cook a steak, um, it like smokes a lot, and I'm in an apartment now, so when I was at home I just like take like the fire like detector off and like open a window, and it would still get really smoky in like the kitchen, because I mean you're just searing on an open pan or whatever, you're flipping it and fucking smoke's coming off of it, especially because the oil has like a low smoke point, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, um I just tried to broil. I've never used an oven to broil anything. And so I saw someone on Reddit say, "Oh yeah, I put the baking sheet with the like tin foil in there while it was like preheating, so that like you could get like a sear, right, when you put like it on." So I let it broil for like 10 minutes, and I go out there, and the oven is fully smoking. The oven itself is just pouring smoke, and I'm like, no way. Because like I'm pretty sure if the fire alarm goes off, my whole building's gonna have to evacuate. And I don't want to be the person that everyone's out there in the fucking cold weather and the fire department has to come, because I was trying to cook a pork like steak. So now I ended up getting a blanket and just like fanning the smoke into the wall and trying to keep it away, and then turn like the microwave like fan on. Um, and I mean, I don't think it's gonna get worse than it is right now, and the fire alarm didn't go off, so that's good. Um, and so now I literally just have it sitting on a rack in there at 325, just slow cooking. So I have no idea when that'll, because it's pretty. I mean, a typical steak cut is what, like an inch and a half. This thing's like not fully cut correct, and it is 3 inches, 2 inches. So it could take a few hours to get through that thing. I'm assuming it's going to be like just a tender cut of something that we'll see how it turns out. As long as it's cooked internally, it's edible. Um, so yeah. So that'll probably take a few hours. I'm gonna go check on it every like 20 minutes because I don't know if maybe it takes an hour, maybe it takes 30 minutes. I don't know. And then there was something else I wanted to talk about before we go back to this LeetCode thing. Um, and so I was watching. I don't know if anyone's watching right now, but if anyone knows Chris Bumstead, the bodybuilder, he recently like retired from bodybuilding. I need to put a hat on. Uh, he recently retired from bodybuilding because I guess he just said like, oh, there's nothing left for me to achieve, basically. Um, I think it was his whole thing, and he wants to focus on his family and whatnot. And recently, you can see in his like recent videos of like he's kind of lost purpose, in like direction and discipline. And he put it to like, oh, it was always like this right after he competed in something called the Olympia. And then as I was getting, a few months out or whatever, or after a few months after competing, right, he would have to start, training again and dialing in his diet and stuff like this. And so he had this date every single year, this date that he had to prepare for, and that was his goal, and he could discipline himself to reach that goal because it was very specific. It was just, a one track. This is what you need to do X, Y, and Z to get to here. Um, and he was like, now it's like, what's the goal? He has a family and he's always going to take care of the family, but it's like it doesn't take 24 hours in a day to take care of a family, and it's like, what do you do with the rest? And he also has like businesses and stuff, but it's like, is there a goal in that? Is that the only thing? And so I was thinking in terms of what I'm doing, right? That could be a big problem as to like recently I've really just not wanted to record these videos in code. It's like I almost like, you know, I just don't want to do it. And it's like why? It's like with how fierce, I don't know if this is the right phrasing, but the competition is pretty rough out there, right? I'm getting no interviews, all this stuff. And it's like, how am I supposed to be above these people that are getting, interviews and internships and jobs if I'm not, dedicating, like I've had almost full months of no responsibility really. Um, and it's like, so why aren't these videos, 8 or 10 hours long of just using like every hour that isn't spent, grocery shopping or going to the gym or, hanging out with, friends playing some video games um at like night or whatever. I still have an available like 8 hours probably between that. And it's like I'll record maybe an hour or two out of that, and then I'll just do jack all for the rest of it. Um so it's like what am I working towards? And it's like, oh, I'm trying to get an internship. But it's like I don't have a specific idea of the internship. It's just an internship where I'm coding at a tech company, right? And it's like, okay, and why do I want that? And it's I want it so that I can secure a full time job. But it's like, okay, say we secure the full time job, what do I want to be doing in that full time job? You know? And it's like I don't have a clear answer to that. It's like I can say what I don't want to do, and it's like I don't want to do full stack work for the duration of my career. Starting there, sure. Any job starting there, sure. But it's like, you know, what is the motivation behind this, career path choice? Like originally, like going all the way back, right, to senior year high school, and I remembered I had a meeting with my guidance counselor that was like, you kind of, it was always in the back of your head throughout high school because it was like kind of this, I don't know if infamous is the word, but it was an infamous, talk that every senior had to have where they had to go to their guidance counselor and say, what are you doing? What's the plan? Sit down and we're going to figure out a plan of what you're doing after high school. And I remember that summer, or, and this was COVID, right? So we weren't back to school yet. We haven't been to school in 2 years. Um, but I was going back in the fall and I was going to have this talk with him. And one second. Sorry, I heard a noise and I thought it was in the apartment. I think it was downstairs. But anyways, what I was saying, and so it was this talk that we were gonna have, about what we were doing after whatever, yeah. Um, and so that summer, I remember just like sitting, um, in my car in the senior parking lot at the high school, and I was going through it because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Um, before that, I always said, "Oh, I wanted to play video games full time," um, because that's all I had done throughout my years that I enjoyed, and it was always like, oh, do what you love or whatever. And the only thing I ever did that I really enjoyed was just playing video games. So I was like, I wasn't bad at them. I was definitely above average, but I wasn't even close to good enough to ever do something in them. Um, and so I mean that reality set in like halfway through high school of like, oh wait, there's no way I'm ever going to make a living out of this. What now? Um, And so I remember my friend, um, well, both my closest friends at the time had gone off to online closest friends at the time. At the time I did have a friend group at school, um, and I remember they both went to school for computer science, and so my friend sent over like a C++ course that he was taking, and so I started going through it, and I won't lie, I kind of lied to myself because I was like, oh, you know, oh, this is pretty cool or whatever. I hated programming in C++ plus plus in a VS Code terminal. It kind of sucked. And not even Visual Studio, like 2019 or whatever was what I was using. That wasn't the best. And so that's when I looked at web development. And I loved web development at the beginning. That's the reason why I ended up going through with all of this is because I really liked web development. And so by the time I got to that meeting with my counselor, I was pretty set on this idea of um, I was pretty set on the idea of going to school for computer science. Um, and so and so I mean like yeah, that's what we decided. And so for a while I was just doing computer science related work. And then randomly I'm pretty sure I stopped enjoying it. The front end stuff that I was doing. I was just doing like HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and it got repetitive, I guess. And so I looked into machine learning because that was a topic at the time that was emerging, even before large language models at the time. I mean, large language models were obviously a thing, but they weren't mainstream. Um, and I really like the idea of these neural nets, and whatnot. Um, and so that's kind of what I was like, I guess, focused on. And so the whole point of me saying this is the sense of direction or purpose or what's driving me and trying to figure that out. Because at first, the reason I liked coding is just because the idea that I could just build something like that, I could type in this IDE and deploy something that anyone could access on their device and see. And I thought that was really cool. And you could make tools, not just text on a web page, but you could do something that is interactive, um, something that you can use to your benefit. And that's why I made that like budgeting calendar I showed a couple episodes ago. And that stuff was really cool to me. And so at the time, and now it's like I still enjoy full stack development, but as a tool, kind of as like a, oh, if I make something, I can just display it. Oh, if I need a tool for something, I can make it into a website and then access it. If I need something to manage something, if I need this or that, I can use full stack for that. And it's it's still cool, but it's like it's definitely not a passion. It's definitely not a purpose. Um, And so I think having something now, obviously you don't need something to drive you. You can just meander around. I could just keep doing what I'm doing LeetCode, doing something that sounded cool to make or whatever. I'll probably be able to find an internship and then a job could stay at that job for a while, jump to a full stack role, whatever, and live my days out like that. But I'd rather not. I'd rather try to find something that is enjoyable and something I'm passionate about if it exists. Maybe it doesn't, you know? I mean, I really do love technology. I just don't think I found the part of programming, and maybe that's even, programming physical stuff. Maybe I am going to switch over to a more hardware based passion. Maybe that's the stuff I like doing is programming to actual physical, you know, devices. That could be really cool. That's something maybe I should experiment with in these videos or something. Um, and not like Raspberry Pi stuff. Like, um, you know, I'm not explaining this well, but and I don't. The only way I think you can figure out this is by trying different things. But I think there can be a process before it of like trying to narrow down what it could be, so you're not testing everything. Um, so maybe that's something I should sit down even here and just go over. What have I enjoyed? What have I not liked? What in this world do I find pretty amazing, and how can this technical role apply to that? Um, so yeah. So I don't know. I've just been thinking. I'm like, why is it I'm not recording for 8 hours a day right now? Why am I not driven to wake up, turn this on, and start coding right away? And it's because my only goal is to get an internship, and that's a very general goal. It's like, okay, what does that require? Well, it requires, knowing LeetCode, LeetCode-esque questions, and maybe not even knowing. Maybe I'm not even tested on LeetCode questions. My friend got his internship and never had to do. Both of my friends that I talked about earlier that went to school for computer science, neither of them had to do, a technical round before they got their, internships or even full-time jobs. And so having that goal or that drive just isn't enough. I think, because of like, what do I need? I need a good resume, and you know, in my head, a good amount of leak code experience. And it's like at this point right now, I feel decently confident in both of those. I feel like my resume is pretty good, and I feel like if asked a leak code esque question in an interview, I think I can get through um, in a pretty efficient manner. Um, Not guaranteed. They could ask me a question, I am stumped, but I feel like there's a good chance that I'm not. I feel like there's a good way I do get through it now, opposed to late November and every month before that when I didn't feel confident in that. And these videos have changed that. And so it's like, if my only goal is to get that internship at this point, in my mind, as long as I'm applying to a few things a day, that goal is, you know, being sought after. So I need a new goal, something, to put my sights on. And I don't think it's gonna be as easy as like, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work. Um, for finding what that is, um, but yeah. So maybe I think this video I'm still just gonna do that leak code thing, and then do a leak code, and then that'll be the video. But I think probably tonight or tomorrow morning, I really want to sit down and put some thought into this, because um, there's definitely um, a lack of drive or something to chase. that is, you know, is holding me back. I don't know how to phrase this. I know something needs to change because in my head, if I want to get to in my head, I want to be doing, you know, if possible, if I had 8 hours of free time in a day, I want to be happy that I could just, do this for 8 hours. But it's like that's not the case right now. The case right now is I'm just watching, I'll watch like YouTube videos for a few hours a day, start recording this, do this for a little bit, pause, watch some more videos, maybe have a snack, come back, do a little more, pause again, maybe watch a show. And it's like, what am I doing? What is this? I'm in my prime, my youth, right? I have all this free time available right now, and I know, down the line I'm gonna be kicking myself if I'm not put if I, if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. But that's the thing. I don't know how I want it to turn out, so I don't know. There's a lot of questions, but I need to go check on my pork butt. So I'll be right back, and we'll probably just start working on the LeetCode thing. But um, yeah, probably tomorrow or at the end of this video, I'll talk about it more because I think it's really important. But I don't really know where to go with it. So I'll be right back. I'm back, much later though. Actually, one second. Sorry, on in my hat. Okay. It's been a while. I ate and stuff and just chilled. But yeah, that stuff I just said beforehand. Gonna reflect on it tonight in the morning. But for the meantime, we'll actually the time has gone to where I can work on this LeetCode thing. So we're just gonna end up just doing a LeetCode problem and upload. So, um, so yeah. So yeah. Let's press problems again and hopefully go there. Okay. Um, let's do. What do we want to do? I've already done a lot of these in LeetCode. Um, edit distance. What's this? Given two strings, word one and word two, return the minimum number of operations required to convert word one to one two. So you can insert a character, delete a character, and replace a character. That shouldn't be too hard, right? We just look for H. We look for the first index here, and we say, is it in word two? We convert both to arrays, and we say, is this in this? If not, then we add one. We say, is this in this? Yep. Is this in this? Yep. Is this in this? Yep. Oh, and replace. Replace H with R. Oh, it's an in place thing. Um, oh, given return the minimum to required to convert word one to word two. Okay. It's word one to word two. Never mind. Okay, so it's See, that's a lot more tough. If it was the other way around, that'd be pretty easy. So is H in word two? Nope. So one remove. But you have to, wow, why is this so much harder than, I guess what you could do is say, is this in there? Yes. Then replace this with this. And replace takes this and like just does that. So it's like replace this with this, okay? And then remove what you replaced. So we're at ROSE. Oh, is that correct? So for any, well, this is interesting. How simple is this? Ah, it's this looks disgusting. Honestly, don't want to do this one. I won't lie. Maybe another day. Not right now. This just looks fucking like a headache. I mean, I want a challenge, but like that's just like I'm good. We've done this. We've done this. Um, restore IP addresses. What's this? A valid IP address consists of exactly four integers separated by single dots. Each integer is between 0 and 255 inclusive and cannot have leading zeros. For example, this and this are valid. I don't understand why. It says cannot have leading zeros, but does this not lead with a zero? Oh, it can't. It can be a zero, but it can't be like a zero, blah, blah. Okay. Given a string S containing only digits, return all possible valid IP addresses that can be formed by inserting dots into S. You are not allowed to reorder or move digits. You may return the valid IP. Okay. So you can make 255, 255, 11, 123, 255, 255, 111, 35. Uh, okay, so just like a sliding window thing. So we know that it can be so like here, how do you avoid just appending a two and then saying, why are these so like okay, thing I'm thinking of right now is doing a sort of a sliding window of like saying, okay, is 2 greater than, greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 255? If it is, great, you know, shift to the next digit. Is 25? Is 25 less than or equals to? Yes, it is. Oh yeah, 255 is 255 less than or equal to? It's equal to. So we can, that is now the greatest number, and so we add that. But what happens in the situation of like 25, right? Now, you could do something like a depth first search, right? Where we keep on every iteration, we increment the index and we insert a period into the array and we check validity. And then, I mean, we will, maybe that's something we could do, right? Is do a depth first search with the current index in the array and um, the current IP, right? The current IP in the index. And we check, we do one where we like append it at that index, and then we do one where we go forward. So it should be like, before we do those 2 calls, we say, okay, is the current IP, yeah, is the current, I'm gonna use the bathroom, but I think we're on something. Okay, I'm back. So what I was thinking was we have our DFS, right? And we have our index of where we are and our current IP, right? Now, what is our base case here? Our base case is going to be if the length of IP is equal to 4, then res.append IP in return. Or this should be maybe an IP.copy. Or actually, sorry, this should be, IP is going to be an array of strings. So we want to actually append IP.join with a period. Is that how we want to do that? I think it's like that. Okay, and then so then what we want to do? We want to do um we want a for loop, right? That's going to go through, that is going to mark, our current index is going to mark the end of the string that we want to work with, right? So for n in range of, oh, what would be the range? I mean, obviously it'd be our index plus 1, right? That's its start. Now, what's the end going to be though? The end is going to be 4 places out, because that's as far as we can go. But what happens when we hit the end of the array? Because then we'll get that index error. Oh, wasn't that from yesterday? I think you just do the min between, um, it'd be the min between what, index plus 4, index plus 4, or the length of the original string. The length of the original string, is that it? I think so. So we do that and we say, okay, we need to check for its validity. So maybe we want a helper function for this, right? We want like a is valid function of passing through just the segment of the string. So we want to say first we want to make sure there's no leading zero. So how would we do that? We would want to just say so just zero is fine, right? But we can't have more than a zero, right? So I guess if the current segmentation if the current segmentation is greater than 1, right? So if the length of the segmentation is greater than 1 and what? And it'd be the last value in this segment, right? Is or no? And I mean, and segment at 0 equals 0. I should maybe also do like this, right? Return false because this segment is now false. Now, if the if int segment at 0 is less than, or I should say greater than or equal to, or I guess what I should do is I should say if 0 is less than or equal to this, and this is less than or equal to 255, right? Then we can say just return true. It is valid. Otherwise, we're just going to be returning false on this. Right? So then here we can say if is valid, and we want to call that on S from index to end, right? If this returns back true, then we call DFS would this just be on index and S? Well, I guess this should be, I should say segment is equal to this. Just a little cleaner, right? And then pass through segment here, and then if it's valid, do this. Otherwise, what happens if this comes back false? Then we wanted what called DFS on index +1 with the current IP. Right? Maybe. And then I'll originally call DFS with 0 in an empty array. And then we return res. Let's see what this does. Null. Cheers. Why are we at null? Let's print segment and see what's happening here. No output. Okay. Oh. Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, now we have a infinite loop. I think it has to do with this. But I think I need something. I think I do I call this with end actually? I think I call this with end. 255 25511. I mean, it's definitely doing some stuff, but why is it never appending anything? Oh, I'm never putting anything into IP, am I? Well, no, I am. We're passing this with segment, so IP is going to be equal. So it shouldn't be. It should be the length of IP. See, this is an array. It's not the string, so it would be the length of IP at 0. Hmm. Our base case isn't right here. Um. So the idea is if the IP, right? I mean here, let's instead of this, let's print IP. Why does it go from being an array to just being single digits? It has to be it's gonna be IP plus equals segment, right? Well, it's an array, so what, dot append segment? There we go. 2552. The length of this is now 4. But it doesn't like. Okay. How do I join all of these to make it Oh, actually, I guess this would just be. Let me check that DM real quick. Bro, I have a double click thing. One second. I have a fucking double click on my mouse for some reason. So it paused and unpaused. So just on my DMs. Oh well. I'm not editing that out. Okay. Oh, it's this dot join on whatever. So it would be what I want to do is I want to just do this join on IP. Oh my God. Okay. One second. Okay. I need to wrap this up fast. So why is this doing? It should be. Oh, actually, it should be three. I don't know why I'm saying four. So this should be three, and then, but we're not appending more stuff. So it's correctly going to there, and then actually, ideally, IP should be appending, not just characters. It actually it should be not that. It should be this. And actually, what I should be doing is I should just be saying, like, sure, segment equals, or no, or just pass through segment. Whatever the segment is, pass this through. And then at the end, right, if this is equal to this, then we do IP, or no, it should be if, it should be something like if IP, if the length of IP, if the length, yeah, if the length of IP, well, no, now we're passing this through as oh my, I give up. I need to go soon anyways. Um, it's got to be like, okay, if the length is greater than this, and if the segment at 0 Okay, so that's literally what I had. Yeah. If zero, just segment. Okay. Return true. Okay, so is valid is correct. That's what I thought. So if the length of the IP equals 4 and the index is equal to the length of S. All right, dot join on. Okay, this is what I was talking about. If we have 4 segments but haven't used up all the characters, just return. And try to create segments. So for end in exactly what yeah, yeah. Oh, length S plus 1. Why is that length S plus 1? What? The minimum between index plus 4 or length of S plus 1. I guess because we're on 0 based. I don't, whatever. Segment is S to this, and it's IP plus segment. Current IP plus segment. So that changes. We add a check. And then, I mean, this changes to what? We're just adding. No way this runs. Really? Is that actually just correct? Wow. Okay. So I was like 90% of the way there. It was literally just, so I mean this is passing through um IP plus whatever segment we have, right? And it goes through and it says, okay, if the length of segment is equal to 4 and the index is equal to the length of the string. Index being here. So this only hits when we're at the end. I see now. This is only if the length. What? If the length of this. Print off IP for me. What is IP holding here? Two, 5. Interesting. I knew it was an array. Okay. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, so obviously I did this correctly. I did everything correctly except for this and this check. That was it. And this. And time complexity of this should just be uh just no event, right? Well, not exactly, right? Well, no. O of 2 to the n, I'm pretty sure. O of 1? Whoa, 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 whoa. How is this O of 1? I don't even want to try to understand that. Maybe we'll try to understand that tomorrow, but I'm tired. Um yeah, so anyways, um not a great video again. More so I'm going to reflect on what I said earlier though, tonight and tomorrow morning and try to just come at this at a different angle. And I don't think that'll be tomorrow, maybe not even the next day. but I need to start thinking about why I'm doing this and kind of figure out a focus on what I'm doing. Because right now I'm kind of whoa, aimlessly just doing stuff to do stuff. I want more of a direction here. Um, so yeah, so that's about it. Yeah. So I will see you tomorrow, and I'll tell you what kind of things I've come up with, and hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. I'd assume my roommates. School starts in 2 days, by the way. And my roommates aren't here. I have three roommates. So who I've only met one. So they might be coming in tomorrow, and so again, I don't know. Like the volume that I'm talking at right now, these walls seem so thin that it's like I don't even know if I can, especially this late at night when people are probably sleeping. Like I don't know. We'll have to see. I might have to talk like this, very quiet, very to myself. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Bye.